What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today's video is a property update video. It's 2022. Happy New Year to every single one of you. And I want to be touching on some important things that I think are important for not only investors and people looking to buy another investment home or maybe their first investment home this year, but also for homeowners too. Maybe you're looking to buy a home and you weren't one of those millions who took advantage of the reduced stamp duty and the low interest rates last year. So I'm going to run through a few articles. I'm going to try and keep this nice and short. And guys, as always, the only thing I ever ask from you guys, I don't need anything other than you guys smashing that like button. As you guys just spending a few moments here truly means the world to me. Oh, and by the way, we're almost at 10,000 subscribers. So there are some people who literally watch this channel and don't subscribe. It's pretty weird, but if you are a regular viewer, then please do just smash that subscribe button. It literally costs you nothing and it just makes me that little bit happier. So guys, let's jump into the first news article. Now, it was really interesting to try and understand where the housing market is going to be going this year. I'll be completely transparent. I was wrong with my guesses, shall I call them, last year. I always thought that by the end of Q4, we're going to see some sort of wobble in the market, maybe a 10-15% correction coming into this year. And as of yet, I'm completely wrong. And I hold my hands up to that because it is unprecedented times. I kind of hate using that word, but we are literally going through something, and we have been through something that, well, many of us have never seen in our lifetimes. But anyway, this was one of the most recent ones, and it's basically from The Guardian, where it says the UK housing market is expected to stabilize in 2022 after a bumpy year. So I was looking into this, and I'm going to save you guys from obviously reading this, but this was really interesting. We had James Thatch, the head of data and research for UK finance, and he's saying that obviously he thinks it's going to stabilize now, but he's also expecting that in 2 years time, a lot of the 5-year fixed rate mortgages, it's almost like he's looking at my portfolio because I literally fixed a lot of my properties for 5 years, that we're going to be looking to refinance these loans, and that will obviously provide a boost to remortgage numbers. The article then proceeds into looking at the UK house prices, and guys, look at this. This has been nuts. It's rose by an average of 24,000 in 2021, which is absolutely nuts. And again, guys, you know, I've explained this on many of the videos on this channel. A lot of money printing. When you're printing more money, essentially what that does is it gives the average person more money to go and spend. And then when people have more money to spend, then essentially stuff that is low in terms of its supply, i.e. there's not enough houses to obviously fulfill the demand, the value of that is gonna, as a consequence, rise. So essentially it's repriced the assets because there's only a few select number of houses on the market. Everyone's been given this, let's call it a stimulus. They've been given furlough, they've been given extra money, for example. And what are they looking to do? They're looking to spend it. And you know, we had the race for space and all of that stuff I've mentioned in previous videos, which I'm not going to go over today because obviously some of you who watch this all the time, you don't want to be hearing the same things every single day. We then move on to speak about inflation, and obviously that hit 5.1% in November, which I did mention over on the Instagram channel. And again, the article just literally explains some of the rationale behind their guess of 2022 being more of a stable market. Because let's be honest, if we see a rise like this again, I'm going to be completely transparent with you guys. I'm selling everything. I'm selling all of my portfolio and I'm going straight into crypto. But anyway, I digress. Let's jump on to the next article. So the next article, my computer ever loads, is will house prices drop in 2022? Now this was really interesting, mainly because my computer has froze. And we're getting a beautiful little message here just to scare everyone. I'm just going to close that, guys. So yeah, apologies. So will the house prices drop in 2022? And I always find this word interesting, experts, because let's be honest, everyone was wrong. Like most experts are wrong. And also what makes a person an expert? But again, I think we're in a day and age now where you can pretty much call yourself an expert at anything. So nonetheless, let's quickly look into this article. So obviously the UK housing market boomed, as I just explained. But what I want to touch on is some other stuff here. So we're just going to quickly zoom in here, guys. So according to the Office of National Statistics, the average UK house price rose by 10.2%. We've just seen that. And 1.5 million homes were brought in the UK last year after the financial schemes like the stamp duty holiday that I mentioned at the beginning, which is remarkable. It's remarkable. And I really hope, and I've mentioned it many times, one of the biggest things with like the 5% deposits, for example, was the fear of negative equity. And I hope none of you who did purchase using that scheme ever experienced that. So fingers crossed for all you guys who did purchase that. And then essentially it just goes on to explain a few more little things. It shows the average house prices, and it does say something which at the end of the day we can't ignore this. They expect to see the demand to remain just as strong. Obviously a lot of people still want houses and there's just not enough. We can't keep up with the supply. We also know materials have gone obviously through the roof as well. We're building houses as we speak and everything is costing us so much more compared to pre-March 2020 2020, yeah, it's like I was going to say another number there, before basically the pandemic. But also what was interesting here was Brian Mansell, the CEO of Gazelle, stated that we don't expect to see the same in 2022 as interest rates will rise and the supply of homes coming to the market will increase. So I don't know, I mean, can you really imagine in 2022 we almost fix that supply of houses with materials going up? I mean, we're trying to build out as many as we possibly can. You might get a lot of affordable housing. I'm certain some developers will continue to obviously produce houses. Interest rates, again, that's obviously another question as well in terms of will they rise, because if they do rise, that's obviously going to have its own consequences too. Moving on. So again, only experts, guys. I'm only bringing you experts' opinions on this channel. We've got predictions for the Welsh property market. Now, if you're not based in Wales, then just bear with me literally 30 seconds, because I do have somebody from Wales who commented on one of my previous videos saying, why don't you talk about the Welsh property? And just for you, my friend, here we are. But there are some obviously interlinked stuff in relation to the UK market as well, so it will be useful just to kind of understand. But what this expert's saying is that he thinks that prices will continue to rise. And if we just look here, guys, the latest figures show that the annual price increase, a year-on-year comparison in Wales, stood at 15.5% for the period of October 2020 to October 2021, which compared to the UK was only 10.2%. I say only 10.2%, but again, Wales had a much higher increase. And this led to basically the average price in Wales reaching record highs of £203,224. And then what I want to just quickly touch on, guys, is just some rationale behind what the agents are saying. Now, this isn't specific just to the Welsh market, it's also common in the UK market as well. People still want to be buying houses, people still want more space, people still want somewhere where many people are now working from home. They're looking for that property. So if you are selling a property, we're seeing them sell out quicker than an Ed Sheeran concert going live on the internet. And that is just one of those things that you have to be on the ball. You have to not get emotional about it. Obviously, don't try and overspend, and you just have to know that it's a numbers game. Hopefully you guys will find the properties of your dreams, whether that's a home buyer or of course an investment property. So guys, the article continues to go on. I'm not going to bore you with that because I want to jump into some other important stuff now as well. Is now a good time to buy? So this is something really important, and this is obviously the title of the video. Is now a good time to buy a house? This is a common question I get asked by many people, and we've gone over the figures in terms of house prices and how much they've risen by. And obviously I'm not going to keep mentioning this because I don't want this video getting flagged down, but you guys can read that. So we kind of know why house prices are rising so much. I've explained this obviously previously. We've had a lot of money coming into the economy. We've obviously had a shortage of supply. We've had that for many years, and obviously the demand for owning a home is higher than it's probably ever been. And we also know that last year the Bank of England obviously made their predictions, I'm sure it was an expert there as well, that there's a potential 16% fall in property prices. Now what's funny is I probably made that same one, so hopefully they're not speaking about my prediction there. But yeah, we all kind of envisage that how long and how sustainable is these elevated prices. But obviously guys, it's defied the odds. I think I should have highlighted that, to be honest. It's defied the odds. So just very quickly moving on, guys, and it's about this. It's now actually cheaper to rent than it is to buy a house. Now, I know a lot of people, and I have done a video on this, so please do check that out if you wish, if obviously you guys care. But Hamptons did a report and it showed that it's now cheaper to rent than to buy. Now, obviously guys, that video goes into a lot more detail and I will leave it there, but this was really interesting. Here we have the previous month's figure of 1,058. Now, moving on, I got two more articles that I really want to run through that I think are going to be really important for you guys. Habito has launched a 7 times basic salary borrowing, and I shared this over on Instagram, and them guys kindly shared it back to on their stories. So that was really nice of them to obviously share that, and they did obviously add a little bit more value in terms of who this applies to. So sadly, it's not for everyone, so don't all of you run out and try and get a 7 times mortgage, but it is for some people, and they've explained that, and I'll obviously show this on the screen somewhere as well. So guys, I'll link this article as well if you do want to read this, but I think more important than this article is their website. So I'll link their website, so obviously you guys can check that out if you want to borrow up to 7 times your income. Now obviously guys, please know that nothing I say on this video is financial advice. Please do obviously speak to your own financial advisors. Please do look at the risks, because as great as this is and the possibilities and the opportunities that this may allow you to, you know, move forward with, you do have to look at the negatives as well. And I'll try and get my words out. And I'll always try and share that with you guys on this channel, because I don't want anyone making similar mistakes to myself or getting burnt in the process. So you have to just be aware of any of the implications, if there are. I haven't looked too much into this, if I'm being completely honest. I'm not looking to take 7 times my income in my residential property or buying one. But for you guys, please do obviously do your research. But they're very, very helpful. They're very responsive over on Instagram. So if you want to reach out there, please do. And tell them the Anxious Investor sent you as well. And finally guys, slightly old news, as I featured this on my Instagram, where you all should be following me right now. Essentially, NatWest has removed the minimum income threshold and introduced lower stress rates for 5-year products and like-for-like remortgages for new and existing buy-to-let customers. There's a reason I highlighted all of that. I was just going to read it all. But essentially guys, the stress test is now 4.5%. So it just makes, I suppose, getting that buy-to-let a little bit easier. Now I have mentioned many times that obviously my first ever property was a buy-to-let. I kind of done a lot of this stuff previously, and whether that was by chance or just the opportunities at that particular time, a lot of people didn't realize that this was a possibility. Everyone thought you needed £25,000 as your standard income when buying a buy-to-let. It's not all about that. And I do have a buy-to-let video that is really worthwhile you checking out, guys. It is quite a popular video, and it just explains little things like rental coverage, which is actually one of the most important factors when looking at a buy-to-let. So guys, that was literally the last article that I had. Guys, as always, thank you so much for sticking around. If obviously you found any of this useful, please do smash up that like button. I truly appreciate that. And until next time guys, thanks for watching.